Kyle and Toby's dare to explore their town's abandoned school takes a chilling turn when they stumble upon Principal Anderson's sinister secret. As footsteps echo behind them, the boys must outrun danger and expose the truth, or risk becoming victims themselves. Kyle zipped up his hoodie, trying to calm his racing heart. The old, abandoned school loomed before him, a hulking shadow against the night sky. Weeds choked the cracked pavement leading to the entrance, and boards covered most of the windows. The air felt heavier than anything he had ever experienced. "You scared," Toby grinned, elbowing Kyle in the ribs. Kyle swallowed hard. No way he lied, but his voice cracked. Toby laughed and pulled out his phone, switching on the camera. "Come on, scaredy cat. We've got an hour to kill in there, and I want proof to show the others." Kyle hesitated, then followed his friend toward the building. He'd been called Mama's boy one too many times. Tonight he'd prove them all wrong. Other boys in their class had dared him and Toby to go to the abandoned school across town at night, and the weight of their judgment pressed down on him. He couldn't back out now. The door to the building creaked open with surprising ease. Kyle's nose wrinkled at the musty smell that wafted out. Toby stepped inside, the beam from his phone's flashlight cutting through the dark. Kyle trailed behind, trying not to jump at every shadow. "This is awesome," Toby whispered, panning the camera around. Graffiti covered the walls, and debris littered the floor. Lockers hung open like toothless mouths. Kyle nodded but remained silent, not trusting his voice. They crept down the hallway and floorboards groaned under their feet. An oppressive silence permeated the atmosphere. "Check it out," Toby said, pointing to a faded poster. "Class of 1999 dance. Man, this place has been empty forever." As they turned a corner, a loud clang echoed through the building. Kyle yelped, grabbing Toby's arm. Toby laughed. "Dude, chill. It's probably just a rat or something." "Maybe we should go," Kyle said, his eyes darting around nervously. The shadows seemed to move and play tricks on his mind. "No way. We've barely started. Come on, I want to check out the gym." Toby led him toward a set of double doors and pushed in. Moonlight filtered through the high windows, illuminating the dusty basketball court. A lonely ball sat in the middle of the space, as if it had been forgotten as easily as the rest of this building. "I dare you to take a shot," Toby said, grinning. Kyle rolled his eyes but picked up the deflated ball from the floor. He dribbled once, wincing at the loud echoes, then aimed at the rusted hoop. The ball sailed through the air and swished through the net. "Nothing but net," Toby cheered, pumping his fist. Kyle allowed himself a small smile. Maybe this wasn't so bad after all. He was so wrong. They explored further, poking their heads into empty classrooms and ransacked offices. Kyle started to relax and got caught up in Toby's excitement, but he was still more daring. "Let's check out the basement," Toby suggested, heading for a door marked staff only. "I don't know, man. It might not be safe down there." "Don't be such a wuss," Toby said, already halfway down the stairs. Sighing, Kyle followed. The basement was pitch black, and their phone lights barely penetrated the gloom. Water dripped somewhere in the distance, and something about that sound made Kyle's ear prickle uncomfortably. "This is creepy," Kyle muttered. "Shh," Shobi hissed suddenly. "You hear that?" Kyle froze, straining his ears. A faint sound drifted through the darkness. Voices. "Someone's down here," Kyle whispered, panicked. Toby grabbed his arm and pulled him behind a stack of moldy boxes. They crouched there, hardly daring to breathe. After a few moments, footsteps approached, accompanied by a familiar voice. "Everything's set up perfectly," the man was saying. "The cameras are completely hidden. No one will ever know." Kyle's eyes widened. He knew that voice. It was Principal Anderson. "Good," another man replied. "Our buyers are getting impatient. We need fresh content soon." The boys heard some shuffling as if they were moving some boxes, but soon the footsteps faded, and a door slammed shut. Kyle turned to Toby, his face pale. "Did you hear that? What are they talking about?" Toby nodded grimly. Nothing good. Come on, we need to find out what's going on. They crept from their hiding spot, and Kyle stopped to look at the new markings on the floor. They had moved some boxes. He looked into a few of the remaining ones. "Toby, film this," he said. Toby reached Kyle's side and lifted the camera. The boxes held. "Video equipment, wires, and more stuff. Let's go after them before they leave," Toby said. The boys followed the direction of the voices out of the basement and into the main part of the building. A sliver of light shone from beneath a door at the end of the hallway. Toby pressed his ear against the wood, then gestured for Kyle to do the same. "The girls' locker room feed is the most popular," Principal Anderson was saying. "We'll focus on that for the next batch." Kyle felt sick as they realized what was happening. He looked at Toby and saw the same horror reflected in his friend's eyes. Content? Popular? The video equipment downstairs. That could only mean one thing. "We have to stop them," Kyle whispered fiercely, surprising himself with the intensity of his words. Toby nodded, determined, and held up his phone, still recording. "We've got proof. Let's get out of here and call the cops." They turned to leave, but Kyle's foot caught on a loose floorboard. He stumbled and knocked over a stack of metal chairs with a deafening crash. "Who's there?" Principal Anderson shouted. "Run," Toby yelled, grabbing Kyle's arm. They sprinted in the other direction of the dark hallway, trying to get to the front door. "Stop right there," Principal Anderson bellowed, his footsteps thundering after them. The boys raced, but the men were not far behind them. "This way," Kyle gasped, spotting an open window. They scrambled through the gap and tumbled onto the overgrown lawn. Without pausing, they dashed across the school grounds and into the surrounding woods. They finally collapsed behind a fallen tree. For several long moments they lay there gasping for air. "Did we lose him?" Kyle panted. Toby peered over the log, then nodded. "I think so. Man, that was close." Kyle sat up. "I can't believe it. Principal Anderson. He's been spying on students." "Worse," Toby said grimly. "He's selling the videos. We have to tell someone." Kyle nodded and pulled out his phone. His trembling fingers dialed 911. 20 minutes later, police cars surrounded the building. Kyle and Toby sat in the back of an ambulance, wrapped in shock blankets, as they gave their statements. The reality of what they'd uncovered was still sinking in, leaving them both shaken and subdued. "You boys did a brave thing tonight," Officer Martinez said, patting Kyle's shoulder. "Because of you, we caught a dangerous predator." Kyle watched as Principal Anderson was led out in handcuffs. A surge of pride cut through his lingering fear. "I can't believe we did it," he said softly. Toby grinned, bumping his fist against Kyle's. "We make a pretty good team." As dawn broke, Kyle's parents arrived. His mom engulfed him in a crushing hug. "Oh, sweetheart, we were so scared when the police called," she said. Kyle hugged her back, surprised to find himself fighting tears. "I'm okay, Mom. Really." His dad squeezed his shoulder. "We're proud of you, son. What you did tonight. That took real courage." Kyle smiled. For the first time in his life, he felt like he truly deserved those words. In the days that followed, Kyle and Toby were hailed as heroes. Their story was all over the local news, and other victims came forward, leading to more arrests. At school, kids who had once ignored Kyle now smiled and waved in the hallways. But it was Toby's friendship that meant the most to him. Their shared experience had forged a bond stronger than any they'd known before. "You know," Toby said as they walked home one afternoon, "I always thought you were kind of a wimp." Kyle laughed. "Gee, thanks." After school, they went to Kyle's house, but just as they were getting near, Toby turned to him with a serious expression. "Hey, I've been thinking. After all this, I want to become a lawyer, to help put creeps like Anderson away." Kyle nodded as a slow smile spread across his face. "That's awesome. I think I want to do something too." Maybe join the student council and try to make our school safer." Toby clapped him on the back. "Look at us, a couple of future do-gooders." They laughed, but Kyle could see the determination in his friend's eyes. He felt it too a burning desire to make a difference, to ensure that what happened at their school never happened again.